Bada bing, bada boo.
The police officer is running through the apartment complex. Well, he's running through the parking lot. This is one of the highest priority calls that the station had gotten the entire day. Possible hostage situation in a nice, family-friendly Orange County apartment complex. It's the middle of the day. There could be children running around. All they know is that there is a potential home invasion and essay of college students by 2 male home invaders. A group of 4 young girls lived together. 2 gunmen had forced their way in. That's pretty much all he knows. The 911 call was placed 2 minutes ago, and one of the roommates had been hiding in the bathroom and whispering, please hurry, I think they're essaying my roommate right now, please. That's all they have.
911, what are you reporting? Okay, ma'am, what city do you live in? Irvine? Okay, hold on for Irvine Police, okay?
One of the officers arriving at the scene, he's running through the parking lot when he notices a blue Mustang sitting there, which is nothing out of the ordinary, but as he's running past, there's 2 people sitting in the Mustang. So he approaches the car, and there's a Korean girl in the driver's seat, a young man in the passenger seat. Do you live here? Are you a resident here? The girl rolls down her window. Yes, I am. Sorry, officer. I just got into a fight with my roommate, so I just wanted to get some Is there something wrong? Is something going on? Is there a problem inside? And your roommates are still inside? I'm sorry, is there a problem? Is there something going on? What is your unit number? 676? Interesting. The officer's radio starts buzzing. The other officers need backup at unit 676. He's about to rush off, but he stops. He looks at the Korean girl for a brief moment. Black hair, fair skin, brown eyes. I mean, like most police officers, he's trying to memorize the face of every single person he sees at a crime scene. And one more thing. What's your name? I'm Sunny. My name's Sunny Han. There's a lot of questions that you never want to ask a police officer, especially when there's 4 of them holding their guns out, pointed directly at your face. Probably top of the list of questions never to be asked would be something along the lines of, if I run, are you going to shoot me?
What?
There's 4 police officers at the door to unit 676. A male had just opened the door, a male gunman. They know that there's only 2 male gunmen and the rest of the residents are girls. So this has to be the home invader. And the police are staring at him and he's got the door cracked open like he lives there. Like he's opening the door to the mailman. The officers don't even know how to respond. They just scream, get down on the ground now, get down on the ground. The guy pauses for a second. He's running through his options. And then he slams the apartment door shut on the police officer's face.
Did he ask that question or?
He asked the question.
Oh, and then he shut the door.
Yes.
Okay.
They eventually break into the apartment through the back. He is tackled onto the ground and arrested. So now all that leaves for the police officers is taking the statements of the 2 victims. They find 2 female victims inside the unit. 2 shaking Korean girls, maybe 21, 22 years old. They're standing there hugging themselves. They're taking turns trying to rip the duct tape out of each other's hair and legs. The officer approaches them and he's hit with this really strange feeling. This overpowering sense of deja vu. I mean, she just looks so familiar. He could have sworn he saw the dark hair, pale skin, brown. But again, I mean, maybe it's just been a long day, right? But there's just this feeling, the more she talks, then he tied us up and put a gun to our heads and then forced us both into the bathtub where he was gonna, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I'm so sorry. What's your name again? My name is Sunny. Sunny Han? We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. They are volunteer-based and are working towards a world where all children in the Middle East have access to medical and humanitarian aid. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team of dedicated researchers and translators. And we'd also like to thank our listeners for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates of these causes. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Now, before we get started, A few quick disclaimers. Today's case is relatively non-graphic. However, there are some brief mentions of R-word and self-exit as well as gun violence. There is also a portion where the perpetrator queer baits, which is also known as pretending to be a part of the LGBTQIA+ community for your own exploits. So if that is triggering, take some time for yourself and we will see you in the next one. So with that being said, let's get into the case that everyone believes is about one evil twin and one really good twin. But is that really the case? How can one person be at two places at once? But here she is on the witness stand, testifying as a victim, and then you turn your head and there she is again, sitting next to the attorneys at the defendant table. Most of the people in the courtroom, the judge, the jury, they all have to keep doing double takes, left, right, like they're watching a tennis match. It's like watching a mirrored image. When one on the witness stand would start crying, the other one would instantly start crying at the defense table. It's like they shared the same emotional string. It was really weird. It's like a glitch in the universe, watching two clones. I mean, there's obviously a very reasonable answer for this. They're identical twins. One is on the stand as a victim, and the other is on the stand as the defendant, on trial for conspiring to murder her identical twin sister. All because she wanted to be her twin. She wanted to be her. Sunny Han is staring at the police officer. You cannot be serious right now. Oh, we're serious. What the hell did Gina do? She's always lying to get me in trouble. This is not real. That's not what the neighbor said, by the way. The city of Irvine, I mean, we lived there briefly. It is a weird place. It's in Orange County, which is in California. And the city itself feels like a fake Black Mirror city. It's beautiful, don't get me wrong, but everything is beige. And it's a giant bubble. Every house looks the same. Every apartment complex looks the same. And they're all owned by the same company. Everything is so clean, but in a strange... Yes, it's strange. It's sterile. It's like, I don't know if human cities are made to be this clean. It just doesn't naturally happen. It's the place that you go to have children. You send them to school. And then you have a suburban routine that just loops and loops and loops until you die. And that year, there was only one recorded murder for the full 365 days in the city of Irvine. It is consistently ranked one of the safest cities in the United States. Nothing ever happens in Irvine. That's why Carla, fake name, moved to Irvine in the first place, for some peace and quiet. Look what you did to me! Look at me! How could you do this to your own flesh and blood? Calm down. Carla looks out the window, and there's two girls. I mean, she knows that there's two separate girls because they look the same and they're standing in front of each other. It's almost like, again, looking at a mirrored image, but one of them is covered in blood. So obviously it's two girls. It looks like someone took a meat cleaver and just smashed it into her nose bridge. And now that girl, the bloody girl, is screaming at the top of her lungs, look what you did to me. You stole my car. You started it. Someone help me, please. Someone help me. She's gonna kill me.
How old?
They're like 21.
Oh.
It appeared one of the girls was trying to kill the other. So Carla naturally calls the police. When the police arrive, they arrest Sunny Han, which makes sense. She's the one without the blood dried on her shirt. That makes sense, right? But they're not arresting her for punching and assaulting her sister. They already had a warrant out for Sunny Han's arrest. So that being said, Sunny Han is in big trouble. Asian gangs in Orange County are actually a very big thing. There's the Tiny Rascals gang, the Asian boys, watching Dragon Family, the Korean gangs like the Korean Crazy Dogs. There's a lot and they all have turf wars. And one of them, or maybe a few of them, were out for Gina Han. That's what she's frantically telling her friends. My sister Sunny, my twin sister Sunny, her boyfriend is in one of those Orange County-based Asian gangs and they're gonna get me. I have to be careful every time I drive into Orange County. Your sister? Why would your twin sister want to do something like that to you? I mean, that's your twin sister at the end of the day, no? I know, but when we were 15 years old, I don't even remember what I did. It was honestly probably nothing, but we're arguing like we normally do. And I'm telling you, she's insane. Out of nowhere, my sister Sunny grabs a sharp pen and stabs me in the thigh with it. That was when we were 15. And now she's put a hit out on me. Now they're 23, and Sunny, according to Gina, has been exponentially getting more homicidal. Gina's anxiously grabbing her arms while telling her friends and anybody who will listen that Sunny put a hit out on her and she's so scared. She told her boyfriend, who's in one of those gangs, to kidnap me, essay me, and then kill me. On sight, no questions asked. Which is interesting, because what if they catch Sunny instead? How could they tell the difference? A girl walks into the police station not too long after all of this. And she walks up to the officer. Hi, I would like to pick up my ID, please. She's standing in front of the receptionist at the sheriff's office. Name, please. Sunny. My name is Sunny Han. Or at least it will be soon. Because all Gina has to do first is kill her twin sister Sunny to become her.
So Gina wants to be Sunny.
Yes.
And Sunny is
In jail.
in jail.
Yeah. She just got out.
Sunny just got out.
Yeah.
But Gina wants to be Sunny now.
Oh,
So
we'll get there.
Sunny did beat Gina up.
Sunny did beat her up, yes.
And Sunny is dating someone in a gang.
Allegedly.
Okay.
Now, one of the creepiest psychological studies done was in the 1960s. Two scientists were debating nature versus nurture. Are you born this way, or are you made this way, or is it kind of a mixture of both? Some believe that it's nature, that genetic traits are handed down by parents through evolution and all of that, and they influence everything about an individual. And it's precisely that, your genetic makeup, that makes each person so incredibly unique. The argument being, there could be a set of twins that have the exact same genetic makeup, and yet their lives turn out drastically different. How does that make sense? But others argue it's not that simple. There's no way that both twins experience the same exact life trauma experiences and stimulations in life. So with nurture, each twin turns out different from the other. Then you have people arguing that it's a mixture of both nature and nurture that defines who somebody is. I mean, it's so hard to argue because there's no solid proof that it's one or the other. If someone ends up being an incredibly stubborn person when they're older, is it a result of their genes or their environment or a mixture of both? There's no perfect answer. Dr. Viola Bernard invented what she called the twinning reaction, placing two twin infants into two different adopted families. So she ran this adoption center, or well, she worked with an adoption center. And every time they would get two twins, they would adopt them out to separate families and not tell anybody that they were one half of a twin. They would not tell the adoptive parents. They would not tell the twin. It would be nowhere in the files.
Is that okay to do?
This is probably one of the most debated, questionable, unethical studies that was ever done on twins.
That's crazy.
There were a lot of people who committed self-exits after this.
What?
Now, they do not tell the parents that they are twins. They let them grow up not knowing there's another pair of them somewhere out there in the world. Then later, they go and study their lives and behaviors under the disguise of, oh, we're doing an adoption study because you've been adopted and we'd just like to ask you a few questions. This, they thought, could answer the never-ending debate of nature versus nurture because their genetic makeup is the same. I will say the study itself, all of the files are sealed to this day. So I don't really know if anything came out of it. It doesn't seem like anything came out of it. It just seems that they were committing morally unethical studies, in my opinion. But the part that fascinated a lot of people was the idea that if there are twins who don't know they have a twin out there, do they grow up like everybody else? Do they grow up like me, where I know I don't have a twin out there? I hope. Do they feel something, or do they feel somehow subconsciously that something is missing? One unwilling participant in the study, Doug, his dad explained, Doug just always had this anger that revolved around the fact that he always felt that something was absent from his life, and he just could never put his finger on it. Doug would be reunited with his twin Howard, and they realized some eerie coincidences. They got married the same year. They had kids the same year. Both their kids played the same sports, and additionally, both their kids had the same number jersey assigned to them, number 2. They both had similar eating habits. They don't like condiments or sauces on their food because they, quote, had no use for them. So it's very strange. It's like they both felt like something was missing, and they both kind of lived parallel lives. The study itself resulted in 2 self-exits, and it ruined a lot of people's lives because once they found out they had a twin, it just was unbearable.
Really?
To know that a lot of them did discuss how they just felt empty their whole lives. They didn't understand how other people felt complete. They never felt complete,
strange.
And they understood what the gloominess feeling was from. Maybe if they knew, it would have made things better, but then to have that betrayal later on, I think it was too difficult. Sunny and Gina both found out about each other at around the age of 5. They both found out that there is a girl in the same town as them that looks just like them, like a little doppelganger. Sunny's mom, she wasn't surprised. Gina's dad wasn't surprised that they had a doppelganger because this was the agreement. After the divorce, they would each get one twin. I'm not sure if it was completely random. I don't know why Gina went with her dad and Sunny went with her mom, or if they had favorites ever since they were born. But the girls were split up, they were separated, and then later reunited with the very calm introduction of like, oh yeah, you're twins. The reason for the reunion and the life epiphany was that Mr. Han decides he's going to be a family man. He met a new woman. He's going to start a new life with her, have children with her, and start a family. So in order to do that, he can't have a family. It's time for him to be child-free. So he gives Gina back to Mrs. Han, and they are reunited. And at first, it seems like the reunion is the best thing that could have ever happened. Sunny and Gina are so happy to be with each other, and I imagine it's like every kid's dream to find out that they have a long-lost twin out there, and now, instead of experiencing life alone, they have each other. And now both of them are living with Mrs. Han, their mother, and she's got double the kids, and she's putting in half the effort. There's a carton of eggs in the fridge. Bye! Be safe! She would just slam the door shut and the girls would be home alone for days and they would be left with nothing but a carton of eggs. They would finish that tiny carton in a day or two and now they have nothing. They don't have any food. They don't have anyone to call. They don't have anything to eat. In addition to that, they have no idea when their mom is going to be back. It's kind of a sadistic psychological experiment set up. The two of them are fighting for resources in the same house, a fight for survival. It's very primal, but at the same time, they are each other's only emotional comfort and support, which is at that age especially very critical for survival. It's a very confusing question of, are they competing with each other or are they enduring it together? And all of this would be made even more confusing by the fact that random men would just show up at the house odd hours of the night. Sometimes their mom would let them in and it would be one of her boyfriends. The girls never really bothered to learn their names because it was a revolving door. Other times their mom would hide behind the couch. Shh, do not say a single word and do not turn on the light.
Hide two girls?
Yeah.
Behind the couch?
Because the loan sharks would be out. And they can sniff out blood. 311% interest a year is what loan sharks in South Korea can charge. Meaning, if you borrow $10,000, you have to ultimately pay back the $10,000 you borrowed, but also an additional $31,100. The total amount that they gave you, $10,000. The total amount you got to give them back, $41,100. Mrs. Han is addicted to gambling. And her relationships in Korea are not working out. Her daughters, Gina and Sunny, are fighting nonstop. A normal day in the house consists of the girls finding new bruises on their bodies, putting Neosporin on new cuts, and counting how many hairs they ripped off each other's heads.
Oh, this is all in South Korea?
Yes, they move. Now it's time to put it all behind them. They pack their bags. We're moving to California. It's supposed to be this new fresh start, but it's not. It's the same thing that was happening in Korea, but now in California. Except it's so much worse because the girls can't go to the convenience store and try to buy a boiled egg. They don't know anybody in California. They don't speak the language. They just sit there at home with each other, and that's it. Until a few years later, they turn 13. Mom's like, pack your bags. Say goodbye to your friends because you're starting all over again. The car pulls up to a random house in Orange County. The door swings open and Mrs. Han walks them to the door. Meet your aunt. This is my sister. This is my sister's husband, your uncle. This is your new family now. And Mrs. Han just walks off.
Where did she go?
To gamble, to live her own life. Now, this is where I think the nurture part really comes into play because they went from moving to the United States in the 6th grade to becoming co-valedictorians of their high school 6 years later. A lot of people attribute this to their aunt and uncle, and I'm sure they do have quite a bit to do with it. But if you really knew the twins, there was this underlying steam just bubbling to burst. They were so intensely jealous of each other. It was likely the most overpowering emotion that they felt in their entire lives. They would rather die than let one be the valedictorian. They would rather push and push themselves until both of them were equal, or one of them was better, but then the other one would die before they let that happen.
Wait, so they were both top of the class,
Yes.
exactly the same?
Yes, exact equal.
Wow.
It's as if you were to put the most stubborn people in the room, put them in a staring contest. Both eyes are wide open. A minute passes. Both of them start crying. There's tears streaming down their face. 2 minutes, their eye veins are popping out. 3 minutes, the whites of their eyes are bloodshot. They won't stop. They'd rather die. Somebody else in the middle has to be like, okay, you guys are both winners. Co-winners of the staring contest.
That's
Look
so
at the
weird.
winners.
You know how like usually when we talk about twins, like they have this crazy connection that they will do anything for their twins? This is like the opposite scale.
Yeah.
They are so Like, you know?
And a lot of people attribute and wonder if it's because they were separated when they were kids. Subconsciously, if it happened as they were babies. Isn't that fascinating to think about? If you're a twin, please let me know in the comments if you think that would have made things different between your relationship.
Wow.
It's interesting. Now, that's the twins' relationship. They could not see the other one shine. They were hyper competitive in every aspect of their lives: school, grades, boys, friends, likability, which Gina Han always felt like it was unfair. Sunny was naturally more extroverted than Gina. People said, oh, Sunny, like her name. She's just Sunny. And then things just came easier to Sunny. She would study 3 hours a day, get a 98 on an exam. Gina would have to study 5 hours to get the same freaking 98 on the same exact exam. But it's fine because Gina would just stay up late and put in the extra hours because she would rather die than see Sunny get a 98 and she get a 95. There is, however, one thing that Gina did not stand a chance on, no matter how hard she tried. And that was being mom's favorite. Sunny was always mom's favorite. Every time she would visit, it was always Sunny this, Sunny that.
The mom that left them?
Yeah. 21-year-old Gina walks up to her commanding officer, her senior at the Lackland Air Force Base in Texas. This is after high school. She graduates as co-valedictorian, and now she's in the Air Force. And side note, Lackland Air Force Base is not the type of place to go if you're interested in having a chill life. Trainees have to go through intense, rigorous physical training 6 days a week. On average, you have to be able to run 1.5 miles, do 33 push-ups, and 42 sit-ups in under 12 minutes. Which, my toxic trait is like, that doesn't sound too hard. No, it's really hard, okay? And that's just the physical training aspect. There's the military training, combat lessons, field training, academic studies. Every second of your day is prepped and planned. There is no such thing as freedom when you're defending the nation's freedom. Gina walks up to her commanding officer. So guys, I'm really lesbian.
What? Wait, hold on. Who is the older sister? Is there older, younger?
Sunny is 5 minutes older.
Sunny's older. Got it.
Yes. Gina walks up to her commanding officer. I'm very lesbian. I'm very gay. I love women. This is her last resort. She tried other things. She tried to tell them that her dad was sick, but they didn't care. When you join the Air Force, you have to sign a contract for at least 2 years, sometimes 4 or 6. And you know how your job, you have to give, well, it's polite to give a 2-week notice, but technically you can just walk out and never come back. The military, you can't do that. You sign your life away to the government. You have to either be honorably or dishonorably discharged. If you walk off that base, you've gone AWOL. And if you go AWOL and they catch you, you're going to be tried in military court. Gina tried other methods. My dad is very, very, very sick. No, Cadet Han, unless you have medical records, we cannot discharge you. Okay, I'm gay. I'm a lesbian. Cadet Han, you are discharged.
What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It's the don't ask, don't tell era. This is in the military. Being gay was completely banned at one point. They said it was, quote, incompatible with military service. So if you were gay, you'd be discharged on the spot. Then the policy changed. They said, fine, you can be gay, but you don't ever let anybody know about it. We don't ask, you don't tell, okay? If you tell, you will be discharged. I'm just saying. Because, you know, in the military, in times of war, there's bombs, there's missiles going off, there's casualties. But God forbid someone talks about being gay. That is so scary. They're shaking in their boots. They don't know what to do anymore. It would be too horrific, tragic, stressful for the big bad boys in the military. Over 13,000 service members were discharged under the don't ask, don't tell policy, including Gina Han. She's not gay. She just really wanted to get out of the Air Force. So without military housing, Gina tries to find the quickest place to find employment and the best in terms of earning potential, fast hiring, was probably the casino. She starts working the tables as a blackjack dealer, and she would on average, you know, they make about $20,000 a year, but that's just the base salary. Most of their money comes in the form of tips. Las Vegas dealers can make over 6 figures a year depending on how good they are and which casino they work in. One day, Gina's working the tables when her colleague comes up to her. Hey, you want to go for drinks after? It'll be fun. We barely know you. What time do you get off? Oh, I get off in like 30 minutes. Oh, we get off in like 2 hours. Do you mind waiting for us? So Gina's like, okay, that's fine. I'll wait for them. She clocks out and she's got about an hour and a half to kill. and she's glancing around looking for something to do. I mean, she doesn't want to eat because she's not hungry. She doesn't want to drink because she's going out for drinks. And of course, the thought did cross her mind. Does a referee have a better chance at winning a soccer game? Or a complete stranger who's never even seen a soccer field have a better chance at winning a soccer game? She's like, me, the referee. So she walks over to the blackjack table because she's a blackjack dealer and she starts betting. She loses every single penny that she earned that day. And now the dilemma hits. Either I go home after 9 hours of work and I get nothing because I lost it all, or I invest money, some money, okay, and withdraw some cash in the name of winning. Maybe she can still walk away with the money that she earned from her 9 hours of work, or maybe she could even make more money. Gina walks over to the ATM. Her max cash withdrawal in a day is $300. She withdraws all $300 and she loses all $300. But now it's personal. It's a numbers game, right? If she lost this much, eventually she will have to win. That's how life works. That's how the numbers games work. You can't just lose and lose and lose and lose, right? But if she doesn't play, she will lose that chance to win. And all of this would have been for nothing. She has to play again. Gina does not go out for drinks with her coworkers. Instead, she sits there waiting for the bank to open the next morning.
This all happened the first time?
The first night that she gambles.
Whoa.
She waits until 9 a.m. so she can go to the bank, withdraw all the cash that she has in her savings account, and go play the tables. Because she feels like she's about to win big. She loses it all. And it would be the start of a pattern. Every day, Gina would clock in for work, make her money, clock out, sit at the table, and lose more than she made, just like her mom. Meanwhile, Sunny, mom's favorite, full ride scholarship to the University of Laverne. She's graduated college and is now living one of those very annoyingly perfect Facebook lives. I mean, she's got the cute little apartment, the ones with the resort style pool and a full-size gym included in the rent. She gets to drive around in a white BMW every day and wear designer clothes and her leather handbag that's designer. Does she even think about Gina? They barely talk after high school. Is that why they never call? She's too busy creating this perfect life and forgetting all about her twin sister. It's a very painful contrast to Gina's life right now. She's been in jail multiple times, Gina, for stealing. She's in debt. She's addicted to gambling, and she feels inferior to her sister.
I wonder if she really wanted to win also just to...
show Sunny.
Yeah, or just win, compared to Sunny.
Win something.
Right, because she's not winning.
No. And do you think 5 minutes can change your entire life?
Yeah.
That's how Gina feels. Sunny was born 5 minutes earlier than Gina. 5 minutes. 300 seconds. It's something that Sunny would never let her forget. And that's why Gina thinks Sunny was mom's favorite, because in Korea, there is a hierarchy. And now every time Gina thinks about Sunny, she's reminded of that. I think everyone has this feeling, the feeling of, oh, if I did that one thing differently, how would my life be? If I studied harder, if I didn't miss that job interview, if I dated that guy, would my life be different? Okay, rather, if I didn't date that guy, that's a better one, okay? Would it look like that? Gina knew what her life would look like. Because us, we could sit here and wonder, but it's literally an imagination. Gina knows exactly what her life would look like if it was better. She could just go on Facebook and see Sunny living her better life. It's watching her parallel universe self living the fantastic life, and she's not there. And technically, she could be. She could have that life. I mean, why not? She has the same DNA as her, the same face, the same everything. I mean, she's technically entitled to that life. The only problem is there can only be one Sunny Han, and Gina would do anything to be her. 19-year-old Helen is sitting on the couch debating. She's completely frozen, and she's thinking, do I just sit here and act like I didn't hear that, or do I go investigate? So annoying. She decides to get up to investigate. She walks towards the front door of the apartment unit. There's a small side window right next to it. She was just gonna quietly peek out and make sure it's nobody important, like one of her 4 other roommates. When they make eye contact, he sees her, and now it's too late. If she crouches down and tries to hide now, the man at the door is gonna know that someone is home and is pretending not to be home, which isn't illegal, it's just awkward. Helen makes a split-second choice to just open the door a crack. I mean, she already dealt with him earlier, the boy selling magazines, which is kind of strange. It's not like he came back a day ago to sell her a magazine. He came back an hour ago. But maybe he forgot he already came to this apartment unit. Or maybe he really is desperate to sell these magazines. Who knows? All Helen knows is she does not want to answer this freaking door. Oh, hi. The same boy is holding a spread of magazines in his hand. Next to him, off to the side, is another boy, just standing there. It's weird. Hi, are you interested in buying a magazine? She looks down at the copies of Vogue, Cosmopolitan. Do they not remember that they were literally here 55 minutes ago? Oh, no thank you, I'm all right. She's about to close the door when the hand catches it. Would anyone else, any of your roommates, be interested? Oh, we all share magazines, so I think we're fine. Thank you, though. Helen's getting this weird feeling in her gut right now. I mean, normally magazine salespeople, they work alone. It's not a job that requires two people. It'd be a waste of time and resources to have two people going door to door. Why aren't they even just splitting up going door to door? And then the other guy, he's just standing there. He's not even holding magazines. And they came just an hour ago. Why would they come back unless they're not trying to sell magazines? They're trying to do something else. So Helen steps back, goes to close the door, but the man with the magazines quickly drops them, and both the two guys lunge forward, prevent her from closing the door. They force their way into the apartment. Helen's trying to run into the apartment to the room where she knows her other roommate is. The men chase her down, tackle her to the floor, pin her down on her stomach. She feels the weight of a man on top of her and the coldness on her left temple. There is a gun pressed up against her head. Shut the f up and sit down on the ground. If you shut the f up, you'll be all right. They start tying her hands together with a piece of plastic twine behind her back. They place a long strip of sticky duct tape over her mouth, and she can hear their conversations. I mean, she's looking for a way out, and she hears them talking, and it's so strange. It sounds like they're looking for someone. Initially, she thought it was a burglary. Then she thought maybe an essay. Then she thought, oh no, is it murder? But it sounds like it's not random. Shit. What the hell? I thought you said that she's home alone now. I don't know. How the hell am I supposed to know? There is another roommate. Are they looking for her? That other roommate had just gotten out the shower, and she hears Helen screaming her name, but she has no idea what's going on outside. She just screams back, "Come in!" She rushes to put her clothes on, and she's waiting for Helen to come in, but nothing is happening. She just stands there quietly listening, like, did I not hear her correctly? And instead of Helen, she hears two guys half whispering, half shouting, "Shut up, be quiet, get the tape. Where the hell is her roommate?" Helen's roommate starts freaking out. She rushes to grab her phone from the bed, runs back to the bathroom, barricades herself inside, and starts calling 911. She's freaking out. "My roommate's being R-worded. There's a burglar. Please send someone quickly. Hurry."
Irvine police. What's your address?
She quickly turns off her phone so that they can't see that she called 911, and she cuts it so close. Her phone screen just turned black when the door to the bathroom slams open. Did you fucking call someone? Answer the question right now. Did you fucking call someone? There's two men that she does not recognize, and she's begging them, no, I just hung up on my friend, please, no. They throw her onto the ground, tie her arms back together, duct tape her head multiple times, and she's pleading with them, please, can you just please leave my nose unwrapped so I can breathe, please? Helen manages to get her hands loose from the twine while the guys are working up tying her roommate. It's her chance. She makes a run for it. She books it to the door, but one of the guys runs after her, tackles her to the ground. "I should shoot you for that." They grab her arm and drag her back into her roommate's room. And at first, the guys place both the girls on the bed, lying face down, side by side. But very quickly, they decide to change direction. They throw both of them in the bathtub, sitting next to each other, side by side. Both Helen and the roommate are rocking back and forth in fear, shaking. I mean, when they were on the bed, the implication was clear. The motive of the crime is essay. But when they're placed in the bathtub, why would you do that? Unless you have plans to try and facilitate an easy cleanup for murder, for blood. And they're sobbing. They're trying to comfort each other when one of the guys turns to the other one and says, "Go tell Gina they're ready." Helen's roommate freezes. Gina Hahn? Her twin sister? There's no way. Her own twin sister would never. But also, it's impossible. Because Gina Hahn is supposed to be in jail. The Hahn parents did notice some odd things about their kids when they were young. They didn't know that there was a word for it. Well, two words. It's called twinning reaction. Even when the two girls were separated as children, after the parents divorced, when one of them would get sick, with no contact or conversation with the other one, or it's not even that there's something going around in the schools, the other one would just get sick too. Even when they're living apart, neither knows that the other one is sick. which has sometimes resulted in some twins expressing that connection in some very dark, twisted ways. One very fascinating observation that some psychologists have made, and I don't know if the research on this is sound, but they state that sometimes when twins feel immense anger and resentment towards their twin, they will self-harm. Their desire for violence starts with their twin, but then it starts meshing in their minds as violence towards themselves because they feel like they have a shared identity. So they sometimes take out that violence that they feel for their twin on their own bodies. It might also have to do with the idea that when one twin is in pain, the other one feels it. This was supposed to be the second day that Sunny is testifying on the stand against her twin sister, Gina Han, for conspiring to murder her. But when she gets on the stand, she's completely disoriented. She's slurring her words. She has no makeup on, which is fine. But the last time she testified, she's like full blazer, full face. This time she's in her nightgown. She looks spaced out, and for some reason, she can only talk in this high-pitched whisper. And at times, she opens her mouth like she wants to say something, but then she just freezes. And then it takes her a second to slowly close her mouth, and the whole courtroom is staring at her like, what is going on right now? On the stand, she's asked, "You were late this morning, Sunny Han. Can you tell the court why?" "Right, so I told 2 people already what happened. Yesterday I had a big fight with my mom, and then I argued with my boyfriend, and he was just so rude, and then we ended up breaking up again. So what I did was I went to the drugstore and I bought 3 boxes of sleeping pills. Each box contains about 20-something pills." "Why did you take the sleeping pills?" "I was angry, upset, and I wanted to self-exit."
Miss Han, you're still under oath. You were late this morning. Could you tell me why?
Okay. I told 2 people already. What happened was, yesterday I had a big fight with my mom, and then I argued with my boyfriend, and he was so rude, and then we just ended up breaking up again. So what I did was I went to the drugstore and bought 3 boxes of sleeping pills.
Sunny had taken 35 sleeping pills and chugged beer until she blacked out. She was taken straight from the courtroom to the hospital. Even just getting her off the witness podium, it took 3 people to help her down. So if twinning reaction dictates that one twin feels the other's pain, then Gina should feel pain when Sunny is recovering in the ICU during the trial, right? Maybe not. Because this set of twins, they're so different from other twins. Maybe one falling apart does not mean the other is going to fall apart. Maybe it's the opposite for the Han sisters. Kind of like vampires. Maybe when one is strong and thrives, the other must sacrifice for the other. They cannot both be happy and succeed. During the trial and even afterwards, Mrs. Han, their mom, came back into the picture, and she felt like this is my chance to step up and be the mom that I never was to my daughter. She couldn't even imagine what her daughter was going through in that moment. Through the trial, she helped her recover emotionally and mentally. She took care of her. She talked her through her emotions, supported her while she got her behavioral science degree. She just wanted to see her daughter get her life back. And she regularly would visit her daughter in prison. Gina. As for Sunny, Mrs. Han doesn't talk to Sunny anymore. She's got a new favorite daughter.
Wait, so Gina is in jail for trying to murder Sunny?
Yes, she was in jail for something else, escaped, got out, tried to murder Sunny, and now she's in jail during the trial. And the whole trial, Mrs. Han is supporting Gina.
I thought Mrs. Han likes Sunny more.
Exactly. But during the trial, suddenly she switches up and she only supports Gina. She doesn't even talk to Sunny anymore.
Huh.
The trial was truly a mess. I mean, there were 3 groups of people. One group that thought that Gina is the evil twin, Sunny is the good twin, and it's simple as that. Another group who really supported Gina and believed that her life was just spiraling out of control, but she's not as evil as the prosecutors are making her out to be. And a third group of people who thought both the twins were kind of weird. Which is wild to think that a lot of people were supporting Gina, because even when Gina is arrested for conspiring to murder Sunny, she uses Sunny's name in the jailhouse. The officers are like, "What's your name? We're arresting you for conspiracy to commit murder." And she says, "My name is Sunny Han."
Is that the one at the beginning that she was telling the cop her name was Sunny in the car?
Yes.
So she keeps telling everyone that her name is Sunny.
Yes. She starts slowly trying to just take Sunny's identity before even killing her.
Okay. But now she's arrested for killing Sonny.
And she still claims that she's Sonny. And it was a whole shit show during the trial to get through, to think that, okay, there's two Sonnys and we got to make sure. And it's not like you can even do a DNA test on one because they have the same DNA. It was just a mess. But yes.
Yeah, so how can they tell?
They were able to decipher.
Oh, maybe the mom can tell.
But I do think that's fascinating to think about.
Yeah.
It was a twin case where they tried to commit the perfect murder because they were twins and they had the same DNA. And they would create alibis for each other because they also looked the same.
Yeah.
And witnesses who are strangers would not be able to tell them apart. It's very interesting. During the trial, Sonny's past became a huge conversation for the public. Why she was even arrested in the first place. Because Sonny Han was arrested, remember? After punching her sister.
So they were both arrested.
Yes. So at first, when the public finds out about this trial, they think it's one evil twin, one good twin. One good twin went to the University of Laverne on a full ride scholarship. She's doing this amazing thing. She's living in Irvine with her white BMW. She's the good twin. She's following the law. And Gina is getting arrested nonstop. She has a gambling addiction. She lied to the Air Force. It's one good, one evil. But then they find out, actually, Sonny has a crazy criminal history as well. And it's very interesting because remember how Doug and his twin from the twinning reaction psychological study, they got married the same year. They had kids the same year. Sonny and Gina also lived parallel lives after high school, just a little bit differently. They both would get arrested for the same thing, theft. Sonny would end up dropping out of the University of Laverne. When she was competing against her sister, she was hyper competitive, but it didn't seem like she was competitive with anybody else. She lost motivation in her studies. The only thing that she cared about was keeping up with the Orange County kids, which a lot of them were rich. I mean, the University of Laverne tuition is $55,000 a year. That's not including room, board, rent, transportation, everything, personal cost. They all drive nice cars. Their rent is paid for by their parents, all of Sonny's friends, and it just doesn't sit right with her. She hates it. So she tries to get a little side job. She's working at school and then she tries to maybe working at an ice cream shop, one of those side gigs. I mean, it's a numbers game. How many hours can you work? How much can you get paid per hour? There's no way that she can work enough outside of school to be able to afford the lives that these other students have. So she starts disappearing on the weekends. At first, her friends don't notice. Early on, they thought maybe she has friends outside of class or a new boyfriend that lives in the next town over. But there would be these small inconsistencies, and honestly, it felt like lies were just adding up. And Sonny's friends discover that she had been working as a dancer in Pomona.
Is that a bar?
It's
Club?
like a town in Orange County. She starts working there as, I guess, a dancer, yes. She just could not stand the idea of someone having something that she doesn't have. She gets so swept up in it, she loses her scholarship, drops out of school, and everything just starts going downhill from there. She was arrested after punching Gina in the face because she stole her friend's credit card and went on a shopping spree. She bought designer lingerie, shoes, sunglasses. She spent thousands of dollars, and there was a warrant out for her arrest. Later, when she's arrested, she looks genuinely confused. She would tell the police and the judge, "I truly did not think that my friend would have even been upset because she's rich. I didn't think that she would miss the money."
Whoa.
So this is brought
That's
up.
wild.
Yeah, and it's the same attitude that Gina has every time she's arrested. So while Gina feels inferior to Sonny, Sonny felt inferior to literally everybody else that she went to school with. A close friend of the family said, "They're both the same. They didn't know the difference between wants and needs because I guess half the time they didn't have what they needed. So their wants just got out of control." A lot of netizens find it very fascinating that even though they're technically separated after high school, they went on to live very parallel lives, committing very similar crimes.
So Sonny, you say Sonny was like has a good job driving around in a BMW.
All lies.
All lies?
She's just stealing. She works as a receptionist and she's stealing a lot from her friends.
Oh.
Now, the Korean American community came together to send letters to the judge asking for leniency for Gina, which I thought was very interesting. But they stated in the letters that siblings fighting is part of Korean culture and this was overblown and over-dramatized by the American police. Which again, I'm Korean American. I have never fought with my sister like that. Ever.
Like attempted murder?
Or even just like punching each other in the face.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the Korean community was supporting Gina a lot. They really rallied behind Gina during the trial. And I think it was probably part and due because Sonny begins supporting Gina during the trial. During the first day of testimony, Sunny was coherent. She's testifying against Gina as the star witness. She's the prosecutor's star witness. But in the middle of the trial, she starts changing her story. Or at least she starts changing how she feels about the crime. She tells the court that she does not believe that her sister tried to kill her. It's stated that while in jail, during the trial, Gina would call Sunny saying things like, "This is all a big conspiracy. There's no reason for me to want to kill you." This is a big case of the cops not understanding how Korean siblings are and trying to brainwash everyone into believing that it was actually a conspiracy to commit murder when it wasn't. It's just a shitty fight gone wrong. For what?
But okay, my question was, what were they trying to do when they broke into the house?
Gina tells her, "I left my stuff at your place, right? And you weren't picking up your calls. You didn't want me to come see you. We were fighting and I just wanted my belongings back and I wanted to teach you a lesson. And so I sent in these two guys and I just wanted them to tie you up, but I don't know why they brought out the gun and all these things. I just needed backup so I could get my stuff back. I just wanted my stuff back." I don't know why the two guys did all of that. Truly, it's a mystery to me. Why they threw you in the bathtub, we never talked about that. That was never part of the plan. Sunny, you have to trust me.
Were you trying to forget it when you were talking to the people from Lisa?
Yes.
You were?
Yes.
When you went on the Lisa show, you were trying to forget this?
No, when I was on Lisa's show, I wanted to tell people the things that was untrue. I wanted to clarify that.
I don't believe that she tried to kill me. That's just totally nonsense. There's no motive.
During the trial, Sunny is asked, "At times, did it feel as though your mother had abandoned the both of you?" Yes. "And at those times, who was it that you turned to?" "Gina." "And how do you feel about your sister? How do you currently feel about your sister, Gina?" This is on the stand after Gina tries to kill her. "I want to do everything I can to help her."
So that gets me to the basic question. How do you feel about your sister?
Currently, I want to do everything I can to help her.
The two guys that storm the apartment and tie up Helen and Sunny are probably the most puzzling part of this case. Who are they? Why are they even helping? Their names are Archie and Yoshi, and neither of them planned on getting arrested that day. Archie was the main one with the gun, and he told Yoshi to go get Gina, who's waiting in the car to come see her sister. So Yoshi runs out into the blue Mustang. Archie is going through the stuff looking for Gina's belongings. And I don't know what would have happened had Gina made her way in. But when Yoshi gets to the passenger seat, an officer stops them in the parking lot. Meanwhile, Archie is still in the house. He has no idea that there's police that showed up until there's a banging on the door. He momentarily opens it up thinking it's Gina and Yoshi, but he's face to face with 4 officers, holding their guns straight at his face. He freezes for a second. "If I run, are you gonna shoot me?" They scream, "Get down on the ground." He slams the front door, starts running towards the back door. He gets tackled because they break in and arrested. Gina and Yoshi, they just drive off, leaving Archie behind. Gina knew since day one she's not going to prison for this. If Gina felt any guilt for what she did to her sister, she's leaving it somewhere on the highway because she's high-speed driving down to San Diego, running into the bank, insisting that she is Sunny Han, throwing down her ID. "I'd like to withdraw $5,000 from my account today. My name is Sunny Han." They give her $5,000 in cash, and now Gina and Yoshi are sitting in a car dealership trying to purchase a $40,000 Nissan.
What?
Her original plan that she told people was to drive to Mexico, get a plane ticket, fly to South Korea, start over, start fresh. But they're not selling her the car. For one, her credit application that she filled out has scratches all over it, meaning she's answering the questions on the form and then scratching it out and writing new answers. Like she doesn't even know the answers to her own identity. Does this woman have amnesia? Why is she forgetting pretty standard things about herself? "Hey, Sunny, do you mind refilling this out?" Gina starts refilling out the credit application and everything is about to clear and close, but the dealership tells her, "Okay, we're good to go, but you're not getting the car till tomorrow." She starts freaking out. "I'll throw $1,000 down right now for it." They are denied. So Gina and Yoshi head to a rental car place and they try to get a new rental car. So the blue Mustang that they were in was already a rental. They had turned it in. But now they're completely carless and they need to get a new car. And they're sitting on the couch in the rental shop waiting for that new car on the love seat. The police would later say it looked like they were cuddling, Gina and Yoshi. So who knows? They were physically very close, which becomes problematic later. But they're on the couch, kind of cuddling, and officers storm the place screaming, "Get your hands up where I can see them! Get your hands out where I can see them! On the floor, now, get on the ground!" Yoshi practically throws himself onto the ground, but Gina gets up instead of getting down. I said, get down now. She's like half holding her hands up, half going, why are you doing this? I don't have any weapons. Get down, get down. Eventually, both Gina and Yoshi are arrested. Archie was already arrested at the apartment. Now, 2 factors would make this arrest very complicated. 1, Gina keeps insisting she's Sunny Han. And 2, both Archie and Yoshi are underage. Archie is 16, Yoshi is 15, and Gina is 23.
Oh my gosh. How do they know each other?
2 weeks before the attempted murder scheme, Gina Han is sitting in prison. She's got a few more months left in her prison sentence. She stole about $40,000 from her uncle. He reported her. She got arrested. Yeah, the uncle that took her in high school. Yeah.
Wow.
Now, this wasn't even the first time that she was in trouble with the law. She had been on Target's watch list for a really long time for stealing cosmetics. It's a whole thing. She said that she was doing it to support herself. One person close to the twins said, I mean, honestly, it felt like they just lacked plain practical sense. They didn't even seem to know how to cope with anything. So she's in prison, and a fellow inmate said, that little Korean girl? So weird. Nonstop talking about how she hates her twin sister and wants to see her die. I mean, she said that she's so angry she can't even hold it in anymore. She needs her dead. Even amongst inmates is a lot. They said, that bitch is crazy. Like, she doesn't take social cues. She does not read a single room. She'd just walk into a room and she'd be like, it's not even that hard. It would honestly be kind of easy if you really think about it. Kill my twin sister, sell her gold jewelry, get all of her cash, drive down to Mexico, fly to South Korea from Tijuana, and start a new life.
Wait, she said this?
Yeah. But just because you're in jail and you want to go out to kill somebody doesn't mean they're just going to let you out so you can commit more crimes and then come back here for a longer sentence. Gina Han escapes jail in the world's most anticlimactic way possible. Work furlough. She's just allowed to leave. She's allowed to walk out of jail for 5 hours a day to work and then come back in. She's basically just getting a free place to stay at night. The program is technically put in place so inmates who have a job and are in prison for a few months, they can hopefully still have a job when they get out because they're not missing work. But also, inmates will hopefully be able to get back into society a little bit better. Now, Gina has 5 hours to kill her sister. That's not enough. That's not enough. She can barely make it to Irvine in that time. So she takes a 2-week work furlough instead. She becomes a fugitive. She just walks out, no intention of coming back.
So she's intended to really take over the sister's ID.
That's what a lot of people are saying, because you don't walk out on work furlough if you want to have a future.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get a job. You can no longer be Gina Han. You're a fugitive. And just like the situation with the Air Force, without the government provided housing, Gina has nowhere to go. So this time, she can't just show up at a casino and ask for a job. She's a fugitive. She ends up in this halfway house in San Diego that's owned by 2 sisters. And she's staying there. No thoughts, no plans, just vibes. Until she sees 16-year-old Archie walk into the halfway house. He doesn't really have anywhere else to be. I mean, there's not a ton of options for a 16-year-old whose parents don't take care of him. Archie's parents are busy dealing and smoking crack. His dad would coach him to lie whenever CPS showed up so that he would never lose custody, but he also did not care to take care of his child. It was up to Archie to just stay alive and stay fed. As a kid, Archie remembers waking up with these raging, intense headaches. He would accidentally inhale crack overnight at the motel that his parents would make him sleep at. I mean, he basically grew up without parents. The only person in his life was his best friend, Laotian American named Jonathan Yoshi Sarath, Yoshi. And they were more like brothers than anything. They were the only ones that could trust each other. Archie walks into the halfway house one day. Whoa, whose blue Mustang is that outside? Oh, you haven't met Gina yet, have you? Gina, come. So Gina, this is Archie. Archie, this is Gina. Archie's staring at this pretty Korean American woman. She's 23, he's 16. I mean, there's this aura about her. She seems so mature, so put together, like she knows what she's doing in her life. But also, there's a dangerous edge. I mean, she seems so free. He says he wasn't interested in her romantically or anything because she, quote, talked with a Valley Girl accent and seemed a little crazy. But it was fun to be around crazy, right? There was this air of mystery around her, just the way she talked. What happened to your foot? Archie looks down. There's this wound. Oh, I accidentally shot myself. And Gina's eyes light up. Speaking of, do you know where I could find guns for sale for self-defense? Off the market, of course, because You'd be surprised. There's a lot of Asian gangs out there and I just want to protect myself. Archie goes to his cousin and asks if she can help. I mean, the cousin understands the situation. She's a woman. She sells him a pocket pistol, a tiny one, like the size of your palm. It's honestly pretty goofy looking. It's a 2-shot Derringer, and Gina paid $60 for it. Soon after, Archie and Yoshi are running late for school, and they ask Gina, hey, can you give us a ride? In the car on the way to school in San Diego, she suggests, why don't we skip town? I mean, what's the point anyway? Let's go to Irvine, skip school, it'll be fun. I need to run some errands anyway, pick up something from my sister's place. Archie would later say, I didn't really care about missing school. I had no parents to answer to, and I've only left San Diego one time in my life. So to go to Irvine, Orange County, which is maybe like an hour drive, it seemed like a really fun deal. Gina offers to pay them $100 if they can help her get her stuff from her sister's place. They did not know that they were on their way to murder someone who looks exactly like Gina. They get to Irvine, they stop at a Ralph's grocery store, they buy duct tape, large garbage bags, twine, cleaning supplies, gloves, and a single potato. The potato is a very bizarre case. A singular russet potato. They take that potato into a wildlife sanctuary where there's nobody around, like a big park. She tells the boys, this is perfect. We can do some target practice here without anyone seeing us. Well, what if they hear us? Well, that's why we have the potato. It's a silencer. They MacGyver the potato onto the barrel of the gun as a makeshift silencer.
Did it work?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Archie would later say, name one teenage boy who wouldn't use that opportunity to fire a gun. There was no deep-seated conspiracy for me to kill anyone. I was just a kid being a kid, taking advantage of the moment. After practicing on the potato, Gina drives them to a separate store to purchase magazines. They were going to use this as a ruse to get Sunny to open the door. Gina's telling them, look, Sunny wants to kill me. I just need my stuff. Sunny's not going to open the door to me. So you guys have to go and get her to open the door. But she's not going to open the door to 2 random kids that she doesn't know. So act like you're selling magazines. When they get in front of the apartment complex, they're sitting in the car and Gina turns to them. It's better if you guys take the gun. Archie's confused. Why would we need to take the gun? It's better that way. Besides, you never know. There could be Asian gang members on the inside waiting for us to get in there. Have you ever hurt someone before? What? I'm just asking because there's a lot of Asian gangs in the area, which is why I needed you two as backup to begin with. The 2 boys are confused, but Gina keeps going. What if you guys just kill my sister instead? Have you ever killed anyone before? What? No. I thought we're just picking up stuff from your sister's house. What is going on? It's just... if I don't kill my sister, then my sister's gonna kill me first. Will you kill my sister for me? No, no. Archie said he was terrified at this point. He has no idea what Gina is capable of. She's asking him to kill her twin sister for her. He doesn't know if she's gonna kill him for saying no, since even just by asking him, she's committed a crime. Gina rolls her eyes at Archie, slowly turns to Yoshi in the back seat. And what about you? Would you kill my sister for me? Yoshi's quiet and he shakes his head no. And for a second, the entire car is silent until Gina starts slamming her hand on the steering wheel over and over and over again. And Archie said in that moment, he's thinking, whoa, this bitch is crazy. Archie and Yoshi both look at each other and the implication is very much understood. If she's willing to kill her twin sister and she's going this crazy on us, what's stopping her from killing us? Archie decides to take charge. He opens the glove box, takes the gun out so that Gina can't have access to it. But when Gina sees this, she starts maniacally clapping and cheering and whooping in the car. I mean, she's gone off the deep end completely. Okay, remember the plan. Pretend you're selling magazines. Go to the door. See if Sunny's home. She looks like me. And if she's home alone, then if she is, you push open the door, storm the place, put the gun up to her head, threaten her, tie her with a rope. Here, take this. Place the duct tape over her mouth so that she can't scream for help. The 2 guys go and knock on the door. It opens and they freeze. They can't do it. They can't force their way in. They're way too nervous for this. They run back to Gina's car. I'm sorry. I think she's home alone. I don't know. Are you sure it's her? Does she look like me? I'm not sure. Side note, it wasn't Sunny at the door. They said that they didn't want the magazines and they just slammed the door shut on us. We'll go back and try again. They go back and nobody responds. Gina takes them out to eat burgers and the whole time she's slowly convincing them that this is the right thing to do. And Archie and Yoshi decide to just go along with it, but not kill anyone. They're not killing people. They're just gonna go along, break in, get the stuff, bring the stuff out to Gina or have Gina pick out the stuff. It's not like Gina can do anything. Archie's the one with the gun now. Archie said, everything I did that day was what I learned from the TV and movies. When he heard the police pounding on the door, he starts untying the girls, telling them it's all a joke. Just tell the police it's a joke. Please just tell them it's a joke. The girls would later say that the boys, Archie in particular, the one with the gun, was shaking the whole time. He was a mess. He had the gun in his hand and he did traumatize the girls, don't get me wrong. So we're not excusing that. But he looked so scared the whole time. He looked potentially more scared than them. Archie would even decline to take a plea deal in court later based on the fact that he did not believe that he was trying to kill Sonny. But if you take a deal, you have to admit that you did those things, and he did not want to admit. I think it's really unfortunate. I'm not trying to say that the boys are completely innocent, but they're boys, they're minors. I'm not saying that they didn't do anything wrong, but I would hardly call them conspirators for murder. Mm-hmm. I mean, there are also speculations that Gina was grooming Yoshi because they were awfully close on that couch. I don't know. Everyone who knew Archie said his family was a mess, but he was a pretty gentle boy. Archie and Yoshi just ended up wrapped up in Gina's little games because they wanted to skip school. That's it. The argument during the trial was, did Gina conspire to kill her twin sister or not? The prosecutors were arguing with what they bought at Ralph's, with what Gina was telling her roommates, skipping work furlough, trying to go to Mexico. It's all very clear she was trying to steal Sonny's identity. Even when she's arrested, she says she's Sonny. So that's what the prosecutors are arguing. Gina's defense is arguing, no, it's just sibling rivalry gone wrong and she was just trying to get her stuff and things got weird. Gina did have a court-appointed psychologist, and she was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder with antisocial traits, which is not inherently a bad thing, but they said that Gina continues to manipulate people around her. Even their mother, Mrs. Han, would tell the press that her daughters were being categorized right now as one good, one evil, but she says that she supports Gina, and she thinks that Sonny is being dramatic, and both of her daughters are good. Yeah. Which is fascinating because Gina uses her shitty relationship with her mom as part of her defense. She tells her psychologist that her mom was neglectful and abuseful and she was always scared of her. She said that is the reason for all of her mental trauma. But maybe it's a wake-up call for Mrs. Han. She wrote to the judge, had I been able to raise my girls in a more stable family environment, things would have not gotten this out of control.
To have no time at all in jail or a little time?
I wanted to get out from jail early.
What do you consider a fair sentence? 5 years, 10 years?
I can guess now. I can tell you. What can I say?
Gina would be found guilty and sentenced to 26 years in prison.
It is obvious that Miss Han is a danger to society, particularly to her own family. She has repeatedly committed crimes against her family. The sentence is as follows. The total is an indeterminate sentence of 26 years to life in state prison.
Archie would be sentenced to 14 years in prison. As a minor, he will be paroled in 10. Yoshi got 8 years, but ended up serving 4. I guess because he never held the gun and pointed it at the girls.
Wow.
Yeah. A lot of people feel so bad for the boys because they were failed by their parents, they're failed by CPS, and now they're failed by the justice system once more. The last thing Yoshi told his attorney at the sentencing while he was sobbing was, please call my mom. After Gina's sentencing, Sonny visited her in prison and she came out of there crying and telling a reporter, my sister hasn't been plotting this. I'm 1,000% sure. There's no way she could have done this. I thought it was totally absurd, but I was beginning to believe the police and I thought maybe it's possible. I was just confused. My sister had fallen into some sort of scam by these 2 teenage boys. I know she did not try to kill me because I envied my sister. My sister is a lot smarter than me. She's highly intelligent. She did not envy me.
You don't think she had anything to do with this? Is that your position now?
Right. Gina, over the years, though, has admitted to the crimes. She said, at one point, I absolutely wanted to kill my sister. I hated her. The more I thought about my sister turning into a replica of my mom, I felt badly betrayed. With my growing rage, I wanted my sister dead. In prison, Gina earned her associate's degree in social and behavioral studies. She said, I'm just interested in anything that has to do with behavioral and social pattern because I recognize my old behaviors and how it ties to my personality. Side note, a lot of people wonder how Gina was able to convince the 2 teenage boys to do this for her. Now, while in prison, interesting detail, Gina had a lot of men writing to her from all over the world, pen pals, and she convinced one of them to send her $100,000, and he did.
Whoa.
He's not even from America, he's from Australia. The psychologist on the parole board said the fact remains that Gina is still flexing the manipulation muscles that she used to recruit 2 young men to murder her sister, boys, honestly. And for that reason, and the fact that the inmate has never participated in mental health treatment, it is my belief that Gina continues to pose an unreasonable risk of danger to society. She was released on parole in 20 years. She's out and free. It said that Gina is still in contact with her mom. She's very close with her. She's working on getting her engineering degree and is creating a very stable career for herself. They're thriving, it seems. The mother, Mrs. Han, no longer talks to her former favored twin. It seems that the tides have shifted like vampires. Only one can be the favorite. And Gina is the favorite now.
Wait, so mother doesn't talk to Sunny?
No. When she was asked, where do you think Sunny is now? She said, I think she's dead.
Oh.
Sunny is not dead, but she has been arrested for sex work, leading people to believe that the twins truly are like vampires. Only one can succeed at one time. What are your thoughts? Do you think that there's a lot of like twin psychology that goes into this crime? Even just the fact that one has to succeed. I don't know if that's something that they believe and it ends up happening in life because they so strongly believe it.
Yeah, I think I feel like their upbringing basically determined how they are now. Like probably the lack of love, even probably competition since they're 5. Like they're constantly being compared to each other. Who's better?
So a lot of people speculate that a lot of twins, they say it is normal to have competition because it's like your siblings. People always compare siblings, parents. You shouldn't, but they say, why can't you be like this, like your sister? But with twins, it's worse because you guys are the same age, going through the same life experiences at the same exact time. However, people think that because they were left apart for the first few years of their life, they never bonded in the way that regular twins will bond. So while they still have that competitive edge, they still have this even stronger emotional love for each other, which maybe the Han twins didn't have.
Right.
So they had this instinctual, that's my twin and I love her, but it wasn't solidified at an early stage.
Yeah.
And the competition kicked in first.
That makes sense.
It's very interesting though.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, this is another thing that I wondered, please leave it in the comments. If you're a twin and you were to murder your other twin, is it almost watching yourself die because they look so similar to you? I just feel like that is so eerie. What was Gina trying to do when she goes in? I mean, what does that look like? I don't know. What are your thoughts? Let me know, and please be safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.